Hello, this is Annalisa from Faith Dream Crate, and welcome back to my channel. You are watching my Easter card series for 2023. This is the third video in this series, and in today's video, I will be using this stamp set by Avery, Elle. This is called the Carrot Car. Unfortunately, this set seems to be sold out everywhere, but if you like this stamp set, turn on the notifications on Simon Says Stamp or scrapbook.com. Keep checking back at the Avery Elle website, and maybe you can grab it to use next year, or if you have this stamp set, definitely go ahead and pull it out, make an Easter card. So I'm going to go ahead and use the Simon Hurley stamping block to stamp this onto the card base, directly onto the card base, and I'm using Memento Tuxedo black ink to stamp this up, and I'm going to create a cute scene around this bunny car. I just love this little bunny car with the two bunnies in it. It's super cute. I actually have a decoration for Easter that I picked up at like Winners or HomeSense, and it's just one bunny in a little carrot car like this. So when I saw this set, I really loved it and wanted to go ahead and pick it up and create an Easter card with it. So that's what we're doing in today's video. Getting this stamped down, making sure I have a good impression before I lift it up. I did not grab out my stamping platform for this for whatever reason. I've really been liking these Simon Hurley blocks. This is the bigger one, and then there's another set that comes with two different sizes. So I was able to get a good impression, which is awesome. Then I'm going to go ahead and color this up with Spectral Noir markers. I did not show the process of me coloring in the carrot because I lost that footage. I have been filming so many different cards trying to get ahead, especially with the Easter series, and then I had the St. Patrick's Day series, and I've just had a lot of birthdays that have come up that are happening, so I was filming a lot. And so when I started filming this card, there wasn't enough room on my camera to keep going with that. So clear out my camera, and now I'm moving on and I'm coloring the rest of it, and I'm able to record it so that you can see the process. So it's super simple coloring, definitely just the greens and the oranges for the carrot, and then the leaves. I feel like, yeah, it's super cute with the leaves at the top. It's like the wind power. This carrot is going by wind power from the leaves, and the little flag, super cute. Love this. And then just added a little bit of gray and the blending brush to the rabbits. I really wanted them to be white. I really liked how they already looked. You could definitely add in more colors and add browns or make the bunnies any color you wanted. So I went with purple for the flag, just to add a pop of color into this card, and added a few more purple details here and there. This is a pretty small image, so it's really easy to color. And then I'll go ahead and create the scene around when all of the coloring is done. And I'll have all of the supplies that I'm using linked down below in the description box if you are curious and want to get a closer look at the supplies that I'm using. So now I'm just adding that gray in, and then I'll come back in with the blender brush, the colorless blender, to kind of blend those lines and make them lighter, make it more white, but the gray that I added in highlights the bunnies, makes them pop off the page a little bit more. So it's not just plain white, if that makes sense. So doing that for the second bunny, adding a few more details in here and there. And then I'm going to come back in with the Shakira Jelly Roll pen, the number 10, which is my favorite right now, and add some highlights. And with the highlights, it just brings the image to life a little bit more. I feel like it just makes it stand out and adds detail. brings the colors out, makes them pop. Just trying to get those buddies right, with the right white and the right gray and the right look. So here's that white jelly roll pen, and I just add it where I feel like it needs a little bit of emphasis and highlight. And then I will go ahead and move on to the rest of the card. I'm going to do some ink blending for the background. I did not fussy cut this out because I directly stamped it onto the card base to keep on creating the scene. Super, super cute. Okay, so let's grab out some Distress Oxide inks to start creating this scene. So I'm going to be using 2 Distress Oxide inks to create the scene. So first I'm going in with the carved pumpkin, and I'm going to use this, I'm going to use that after. I'm going to do the ground first. So I have ground espresso for the ground, and I'm using the Rabbit Hole Designs blending brushes. They are my go-to brushes for blending. I'll have them linked down below as well, and I'm just creating the ground. These buddies are in the garden, and they've created this car, and they are off on an Easter adventure, so they needed a dirt road to get away. They are on their way to plan Easter. So just blending this ground till I like it, and then I'm going to bring in that carved pumpkin, and I'm going to use this in the sky. I thought it would be cool to have like an orange sky because we have the orange carrot, and then I'm going to add some splashes of water, and it's actually going to make it kind of look more yellowy. Just going to add to the effect of the sky. And it's just fun. It's like a sunset, but a spring kind of vibe. So here I'm using the Distress sprayer to add in some water droplets, and I'm going to dry this off in between sprays and spray it until I'm satisfied with the look of it. I was not sure what this was going to look like. I was just going with the flow and trying not to get a lot of water on the colored areas, though I don't think it would affect it too much because it's not, the alcohol inks are not water reactive. But yeah, just kept on adding the water, dabbing it off until I was happy with the look in the background, giving it that sunset vibe. And then of course we need to bring in a sentiment, so we are going to do that too. Actually bring in 2 sentiments from the set Carrot Car from Avery, Elle. And I'm going to stamp this right onto the front of the card, and then one right onto the front of the card, and then I do stamp the second sentiment on a separate piece of paper. So just stamping the Happy Easter at the top with the Memento Tuxedo black ink, and using the Simon Hurley stamping block again. And then I wanted to bring in some more orange. I wanted to bring in a pop of orange again. I did not want the sentiment to get lost in the brown. It's quite dark, and I felt like if I just stamped it directly on there that we would lose it. But I didn't want to bring in my typical black cardstock with a white embossing because I felt like it wouldn't match the card. So bringing in that orange, stamping the sentiment, "You're a 24 karat friend," onto the orange. And then I'm actually going to cut off the part friend because I wasn't sure who I was going to give this to. So it's going to just say, "You're a 24 karat." So whoever I give this to, it's just an encouragement, like, you are really valuable and you are awesome. Happy Easter. So just cutting that down, cutting off that word friend, and then I'm going to go ahead and get this sentiment adhered down. I didn't choose to mount it on anything because I did not want to bring in any more colors. I feel like I could have probably mounted on some greens to give it more of a carrot vibe. Like this is the carrot, but I just chose to keep it orange, keep it simple. And I'm just using my Barely Art glue to adhere this down. And then to finish off the card, I wanted that sentiment, "You're 24 karat," to stand out. So I chose to bring in some orange pops of color, to bring in a little bit more orange, and just to emphasize this, "You're a 24 karat." And you're going to see that here in a minute. Here are the orange pops of color from scrapbook.com. So I just added some dots all around that sentiment. And then that is going to finish up the card. And there it is. I'm just adding a little bit, flicking the dots and adding a few more here and there. I wanted the dots to be flat, of course, and then that will be done. And I will show you it all done after these dots are flat and ready to go. Alrighty, so the card is done. Let's just clear off the desk a little bit, and then I will show you this card close up. So that is all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. I would love to have you join me here as I share inspiration with you. I love to create cards and be creative, so I hope you stick around and are inspired along the way. I'll see you in the